on a light day, yes.
We'll have to rank them. BK's favorite jobs that he has.
BK, were you at the game on Sunday?
No, I was not. I was watching from home with the children.
Yeah.
It was a sad day. The kids did not like the result, but that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, BK, well, we live to see another day, and as we get ready for Game 5 on Phoenix on Tuesday, we'll be monitoring AD's injury status. He's currently listed as questionable with the groin strain he suffered in the first half on Sunday's game. In addition to AD, KCP is also listed as questionable for Game 5 as he recovers from a left knee contusion that kept him out of Game 4. Now for more, here's Frank Vogel with the latest on AD's injury.
Get an MRI and it confirmed a strained groin, and you know, he'll be listed as questionable, but he's literally day to day. You know, we're going to see how he feels tomorrow. We're going to treat it, you know, overnight, do everything we can to get it feeling better. And then, you know, certainly our identity shifts if Anthony's not in there. But it's not unprecedented for us. We played a large chunk of our season without him. And, you know, hopefully we can draw on some of those experiences to see how we have to shift.
I was wondering what jumped out to you this season and last with how Anthony has handled any possible frustration with, you know, numerous injuries coming up, and also his determination to try to, you know, make the best of the circumstances and play through some of them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every great competitor is going to be frustrated if they can't be in there. You know, but I think he's shown an incredible amount of toughness the last 2 years playing through injury. You know, and we saw that the other night when his knee wasn't feeling all that great, and you know, he said he's going to be out there no matter what. You know, so you know, I just think that's who he is. He's a tough competitor that's going to play through stuff.
All right, let's start with AD, guys. It's believed he's not going to play by most. The Lakers have to kind of move forward and prepare like he won't be in that Game 5. And they've been preparing for this half the season, right, Prez? He missed. So this is nothing new for them.
Yeah, when you go 36 out of 72 games without one of your two best players, you're kind of used to it. Now, how do they do in those games? You know, not exactly a great win-loss percentage. Plenty of them were without LeBron and AD. But the good news is they are used to being without one, if not two of those guys. The reserves really have to step up, though. They just do. You know, we need more Kyle Kuzma. We need maybe some Wes Matthews magic. We need Schroeder. Had a good Game 2 and a good Game 3, but we need him to kind of step up as well in this one for sure in Phoenix on Tuesday, because no AD. That's a lot of points, blocks, rebounds, a lot of everything out the door.
Yeah, BK, it's not just the offense that you lose. You're losing a top 3 defensive player in the league, and the teams are going to attack you differently when he's not there. They are a lot more confident when he's not there.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, I do think the Lakers have shown themselves to be very credible defensively, no matter who's on the floor. They managed to hold on to the top defensive rating in the NBA, even with LeBron and AD missing as much time as they did. I'm less worried about what they do on the defensive side, because it just seems like they stick to their principles really well. They do a good job kind of filling in that gap, that void that AD leaves. I'm very concerned about how they put up points. You know, the offense has struggled at times over the course of the season and in the playoffs, even with Davis available and playing well. You take him away, obviously it puts a lot of pressure on LeBron. As Braz says, it puts a lot of pressure on the supporting cast and on the bench. They have to figure out a way to score.
I think you can kind of look at the prognosis as good news, I guess, if you're a silver lining kind of guy, because he is day to day. And there is a thought that he can return during this series. I mean, if you were a media member, a fan, or an analyst, or anybody on Sunday, there was talk of, God, will he be out for the entire playoffs when it comes to a groin injury? You just don't know how severe it can be, Brez. But you could feel the air go out of that building.
Oh, yeah.
By everyone except the Phoenix Suns when AD went down.
Yeah, you know, no doubt. Talked to our guy, Robert Horry, friend of the show, yesterday after it happened. And he said he once had such a bad groin injury, it cost him an entire summer. Like, he had to rehab month after month after month. That's not the case here. Rob had a tear. This is just a strain, so that's good. The problem here, it's a little bit of a calendar thing, all right? Because now the Lakers are going to play Tuesday, then they're going to play Thursday, and then they might play Saturday. Not a lot of time between those games. It's not like a jump of 3 days between games at any of those junctures. So not really a good thing time-wise for the Lakers. You never wanted to have this happen, but especially now in Game 5 of the playoffs. Hopefully he gets out there. We'll see.
It was interesting, BK. I mean, usually for sure the home crowd, fans, the win's going to get out of their sails a little bit. But you can see it with the team as well.
I mean, they know. I mean, they're not. These are guys who absolutely believe you're on a team with LeBron James. You have a chance to compete. You can do all that stuff. But they know what it means to go and play without AD. And I think particularly it was hard for them to come out and have something that was unsure. If they knew like it's going to be, in Game 5 where you're probably going to play without him, you prepare for that. But the way it happened where he goes out right before halftime and they don't really even know he's going to be unavailable for the second half until they go out on the floor. They were out of sorts coming in for that second half. It showed they only put up 15 points in the third quarter. And by the time they kind of figured it out in the fourth, they had dug themselves too big a hole.
I want to talk a little KCP. He did not play in that game, and that was a huge loss for the Lakers. You got to think he's going to be available. He said he's feeling better. Brez, Lakers they need him on both sides of the ball in a game like this.
Yeah, interesting day for him yesterday. I happened to speak to him about an hour before tip-off. He had just done some shooting on the court, some little drills trying to test his stability and lateral movement. And he was non-committal at the time. And apparently it just didn't happen for him. He just couldn't get the neurons firing and getting that knee feeling good and whatnot. Since he was that close for Game 4, I have a feeling he's playing in Game 5. Same injury designation as AD, both questionable, as we saw earlier with the graphic. I think KCP is back, and if nothing else, good defense. Not having a great series offensively, averaging only 4 points a game, not shooting that well, but just having him back. You don't want to be down 2 starters on a Game 5 on the enemy's home turf.
Yeah, listen, he's going to go through spurts where he's not shooting the ball well, but that doesn't, I mean, they need him defensively. He's the guy that chases Book around, and he's been great on him, BK.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, the defensive thing, I just talked about how the offense needs to get better, but they're going to have to play a great defensive game because the offense is so questionable. KCP is a huge part of that. Alex Caruso did a nice job on Devin Booker in Game 4. They're going to need more help there because everybody's going to have to do a little bit more offensively too. I also think KCP can help generate, even without the shooting, can help generate a little bit of easy points for the Lakers, perhaps on the defensive side. He gets his hands on a ton of balls. A couple deflections here or there, get out on the break, finish with the points off turnovers. Those are things that can make a big deal in Tuesday's game. And so, getting KCP back in the lineup is a very big deal for the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, his 1 for 13 from 3 in those first few games, you can get away with that when AD plays. You cannot with AD out of the game. He has to give you some offense
for sure
as well. All right, following Sunday's loss, LeBron spoke about losing AD in Game 4 and his mentality heading into Game 5.
Well, obviously you have a game plan going into a game, how you want to execute offensively and defensively. And, the one thing that you can't predict if one of your focal points go down. And obviously, that was big for our team, and being able to try to adjust on the fly after having a game plan was challenging for us. And but more importantly, the health of AD is what's most important for our ball club. Well, I mean, it's next man up, and obviously, if he's not ready for Game 5, it's going to be a tough blow for our ball club. But next man up, and we've been like that all year, and we're going to have to be like that in a hostile environment in Game 5. For me, it's putting our team in position to be successful. It starts with my approach. It starts with my accountability. Trickles down to everybody else. So, these shoulders was built for a reason. And, if it takes for me to put some more on top of it, then so be it. Win, lose, or draw. I'm ready for the challenge.
So LeBron has been down this road, guys, many times in his career. And you just heard him right there. His shoulders are built for this.
Yeah.
Do you think he has to have one of those special LeBron playoff games for the Lakers to win, BK? You do?
Oh, yeah. I do. I think that it starts with one of those LeBron going nuclear kind of deals where he is just unstoppable, because I think for the rest of the guys to be able to kick in the way that you need him to, all that attention has to go to LeBron. You need 3 or 4 or 5 guys staring at LeBron every time he comes down the floor to open up the floor for Dennis Schroeder or KCP to have a couple open looks, or Kyle Kuzma to slash to the basket, all that stuff. It's all going to be predicated on Tuesday off of LeBron. And if he is struggling even a little, I think, the odds for the Lakers go down. I'm not saying they can't win if he doesn't go nuclear, but it's a lot harder.
What's a nuclear line? Like, is that you're talking Game 5 on the road at Golden State when he's with the Cavs, 41 points, or are you talking?
I'm going to say 73, 32, and 30. I'm kidding. No, I think 30 points, 10 or 11 assists. The rebounds maybe less, so there are people who can do that. Yeah. But I think it's one of those 30-point games with double-digit assists for sure.
Yeah, I'll be a little more interested in the assists because if he's up there in like 13, 14, 15 assists, that means his teammates are hitting. Got guys like KCP, if he's playing, he's hitting. Wes Matthews shooting 31% in this series, he's hitting. Marc Gasol been a pleasant surprise off the bench. If LeBron's getting up there in assists, Marc Gasol is probably hitting some shots. So I'll be more interested in the assists than the points. But like BK said, 73 points would be a nice start.
I feel good if he got that. Brez, LeBron mentioned next man up mentality, and the first name that comes to my mind is Dennis Schroeder. Great in games 2 and 3, they win. Not great in games 1 and 4, they lose. That's not really a coincidence, right? He's that important to this team.
Yeah, shot 3 for 13 in that game 4. That's just not going to get it done, especially with AD leaving that game in the second quarter. And I think Dennis realizes this. He had kind of a slow return from his 2-week stint away from the court because of health and safety protocols. He started to get good in games 2 and 3, and you think, okay, he's back. All right, Schroeder, here we go. And a little bit of a step back for him. But like KCP, you got to look at him defensively, too. I mean, he's just such a menace out there.